But what I find just fascinating about tech is the whole way you sort of reframe or reimagine problems. And I think that really sort of ties in with neuroscience or psychology in the sense of you look at problems and you think, how can you change the way the world is to some extent? So, I mean, in very simple terms, you look at Airbnb or Uber. So effectively, you have these spare rooms or you have these people with cards. How do you essentially extract value out of that? And I believe it's a lot of it is about just changing the perception or reframing the problem. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. So let's take the podcast for an example. You started off with an app, right, which is one medium of delivering your content, and then you're equally, you can deliver it via a podcast, you can deliver it via YouTube, or you can deliver that content through a book. Technology is just an extra medium as to which you can deliver a content. It just happens to be, for example, in the Uber case, it's a lot faster and more convenient than a call line, which was the original side. If you want a taxi, you kind of phone up a taxi rank, right? But this is just an app that connects all taxi ranks. So it's just a different medium, and some mediums make sense to put through technology, other mediums don't. And so it's seeing whether technology adds value, because in some aspects it will, and some aspects equally you could do it in another way, or brand it in a different way that makes more sense.
And I think the other thing you mentioned to me before we came on air is this idea of sort of coming up with interesting technology and seeing how to apply it. And I think that was the case with Recycleye. Is that right, Pete?
So I think, yeah, Recycleye was Victor looking at the waste industry and also what I was doing in computer vision, and then applying, here's some technology that could solve this problem, and applying it to the industry. I think specifically on things that are currently manual, it's quite easy to see that link. If your technology, if you have a kind of tech mind, it's quite easy to connect the dots in terms of there's someone looking at something, and that can be done with computer vision instead. In terms of what we're doing now, there are multiple ways to provide value on top of that. So you can look at your technology and go, okay, well, at the moment it's providing operational decisions to the plant or to the facility. So what else can we apply it to? Can we apply it to strategic decisions? Can we apply it to certification, regulation, compliance, and etc. So once you have a kind of core product, then you can skin it in multiple different ways and think, how can I add a layer of value on top of this by framing it in a different perspective.
No, I just love that. The whole idea of you have a sort of a core base, and then you're thinking how you can spin it out, almost like repurposing content, but in a slightly different way. So I suppose with the podcast, you've got the podcast, but then you can take the Zoom video and create a YouTube channel, and then you could write an article or write a book. So it's just figuring out, you've got some core IP, an asset. How do you monetize that in the most efficient way? Is that broadly correct?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess in the podcast case, it's the raw asset of Harsha on the call. And so yeah, it's how do you get that out? And yeah, equally with your career, right? It's the core asset of you and the skills that you have. And yeah, just thinking about how best you can augment those skills, where you want to head to in terms of either the product of you, what extra features do you want to add to build you as a person.